All right, well, we are waiting for a possible verdict any day now in Trump's New York City trial, possibly remarks from Trump this hour. But this is after the jury's been sent home for the day after requesting more testimony. They deliberated for like 4 or 5 hours today. And look, in any other case in the history of our judicial system, maybe absent like a few during the era of McCarthyism, you needed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that someone is guilty in order to convict them. I mean, that means that if there's even a single thought, if even it crosses your mind that someone may have not committed the alleged charges in front of you, you can't convict them. And man, this judge absolutely has bent those rules. In this case, the judge has ordered that the jurors don't need to agree upon what crime occurred, just so long as they agree that a crime was committed. And then the judge is going to treat their verdict as unanimous, which is crazy to me. Remember, this whole thing stems from Trump paying his lawyer. That's literally it. They just didn't disclose it to the FEC, even though it was a personal. It's so dumb. Basically, if the 12 people on this jury think that Trump did something, it doesn't matter if it was all different, then he's guilty. This is the first case that I've ever heard of where, until today, we didn't know what the crime was. Trump said today, as the jury kicked off their deliberations, listen.
Mother Teresa could not beat these charges. These charges are rigged. The whole thing is rigged. And I mean that. Mother Teresa could not beat those charges, but we'll see.
We'll see. Okay, imagine, and this is why, look, imagine you're running for school board and you're arrested for speeding, and you go to court, and 4 members of the jury agree that you were speeding, but another 4 members think, hey, this guy may have been drunk driving, and another 4 members think, actually, you just blew a red light. Now, according to this judge's guidance, you will be found guilty. Not of any one crime, you're just guilty. And then you're going to be sentenced accordingly by a guy who's supporting your school board opponent. That's what's going on here. And that's why this applies to you, to me, and to everybody else, because this will become legal precedent. And mark my words, it'll be used for anyone else running for president or governor or Congress or state senator or even school board. And to further illustrate how crazy this is, it's not like we've never seen high-level officials and even presidents commit questionable acts before, but they're never prosecuted. In fact, the former head of the FBI said in relation to Hillary Clinton this.
Although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case.
Aside from him having the worst judgment of anybody pretty much ever to run the FBI, what does that make Alvin Bragg? An unreasonable prosecutor? Hillary Clinton had a private email server in her basement and exchanged classified information and then deleted like 30,000 emails. And yet the FBI thought that no reasonable person would prosecute. Well, what do you call Trump's Mar-a-Lago prosecution? It's less than that. And reminder that we found out that Joe Biden also has a private email account with when he was vice president. He got sensitive government information and briefings on that thing too. But let's do apples to apples. Barack Obama arguably did the exact same thing that Trump is on trial for, misuse and misreporting of campaign funds. Did he stand trial? No. They simply paid a $375,000 fine to the FEC, the largest of its kind to date, paid for with more donor money, of course. Bob Dole paid a little over $100,000 in a fine to the FEC for the exact same thing. He admitted to violations in raising and spending campaign money. In fact, almost every presidential candidate has been fined by the FEC in some way, shape, or form for some violation of some election finance law because it's so complicated and everybody screws this up. Trump, I think, is the first guy who's getting dinged for using his personal funds, though, which is crazy to me because you can go donate as much as you want from your personal bank account to your own campaign. But let's go further. Let's look at some people who actually committed a crime. Bill Clinton, he was impeached for lying under oath about the whole Monica Lewinsky thing during this deposition. Forget all the sexual harassment settlements that he made. He was impeached for it. Not found guilty in the Senate, though, but never criminally charged once he left office. Not even Richard Nixon, who wiretapped a political opponent at the DNC headquarters in the Watergate office building, saw a day in a courtroom. Sure, he resigned from the presidency, but never charged. But Donald Trump has been forced to spend the better part of 2 months chained to a desk in a courtroom listening to testimony by partisan hacks and a convicted liar about whether or not he paid a porn star out of his own pocket to keep her mouth shut about an affair that, in writing, she admitted never happened. By the way, that's not illegal either. They're just saying it's illegal because they think it was related to 2016 and he didn't tell the FEC about it. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg is trying to charge that this is simply illegal because Trump didn't disclose it. That's crazy to me, even though it came out of his own pocket, which, by the way, he didn't even pay directly. Michael Cohen paid Stormy Daniels, and by all accounts, other than Cohen, who is a liar, not at Trump's direction. Keep in mind, at the time, Trump was a billionaire running a corporation with thousands of employees and hundreds of properties. $130,000 in payment in an empire like that is the equivalent to you and I writing a $13 check to someone because your wife told you to. You see how ridiculous this is? And the entire nation is holding its breath over it.